Two men stand victorious. Same victory, same decision, but different outcome. The choice is different, and as some would argue, this is the decision that shaped our current world. The two men at stage are Hannibal Barca and Scipio Africanus, who hasn't been known by that name yet, but we're going to use it for just ease. Hannibal Barca, who have dealt a decisive and crushing blow to the Roman legion during the Second Punic War at the Battle of Cannae, when for the first time in history, a smaller army encircled a larger army. To some, that was considered art, and many generals and many military bright minds always look at that battle as something of a stroke. The second one, Scipio Africanus, at the Battle of Ilipa, which was current Spain, does the same thing and copies Hannibal and encircles a larger army by a smaller army several years after. Once again, this is the Second Punic War. For these two nations, Rome and Carthage, it's the battle for the entire world. And it is battle for the entire world because it set the precedent for the rest of our lives, for the rest of our world, the current language, the laws that we use. Hannibal, after his victory, had a choice to march on Rome. So the decision is hanging on by the knife's edge. He decides that he will not. He thinks that he cannot take the walls of Rome and decides to stay at the Roman countryside, hoping Romans will flock to his cause. However, that just entrenches Rome even more, and they do not bend. Several years later, Scipio, once again, does the same victory, makes a different decision. He asks for more troops and asks to invade Carthage, current-day Tunisia, if I'm not mistaken, and he sails to Africa. As he sails, he finds out two Numidian princes are at war. One of them tries to support Rome. Rome backs him. Rome now has the Numidian cavalry. The one point that kept on destroying the Rome's units. Rome gets that. Carthage besieged. Hannibal gets recalled from Rome and is defeated in open field. Once again, Rome is victorious. There was a third Punic War, but the second one was the most important. The third is when Carthage gets completely sacked and destroyed. But it sets the precedent for the entire world. Language, Latin, the Byzantine law codex that we use, if I'm not mistaken, it was written during Justinian's reign of the Byzantine Empire. Everything that we use, the culture, is based on ancient Rome. Everything is based on those two decisions, one to hold and one to move forward. And this is where we'll start our show. This is where we begin about leadership, about business, about self-growth. We want to talk about the same thing and the same point that all of the leaders have. As you listen to Tony Robbins, to John Maxwell, to many others, Jack Canfield, they all talk about leaders do the basics really well. They all talk about how they get their teeth gritted and they move forward. But the basics of what they can do. I was having a talk with my wife a couple of weeks ago, and she hit a very important point for me. And I realized something, that it's not just the basics. There is something before that. And it's all up here. It's your mindset. What I see in most of these leaders and in most successful businessmen is that their mind is like a fortress. And then it is an impenetrable fortress. It cannot be shaken. It cannot be moved. I compare it to Constantinople, a city that has not been sacked for over 1,000 years, cannot be breached. All of the successful people, their mind is where it all starts. Not the basics, their mind, making a decision and then following through that decision. as we look at things like that, we think about many, many things and many things that we could do. And why does it start with the mind? Because remember, when you make a decision, you probably go against your values. Values for your family, values of some of the history that you've been brought up. And it's very hard because your family is going to be, a lot of the time, your biggest opposition. Your friends may say that that's stupid. They may say that that's idiotic, that you will not make it. Do you know how hard that is? I always thought, why can't people just not be hard-headed and just go through it? This is so easy to make the switch. It's like that, right? Tony Robbins says, once you're ready, bam, like this, and you make that switch. Then why after so many talks, why after so many successful talks about leadership, talks about motivation, talks about getting those weeds out of your garden, why do people still not succeed? Because they didn't do the basics well? So I thought about that. How come? And it's all because of this, because the decision that you make, it's your mind. And not everybody can do that. Most people can't do that. So what I want to talk about is, where do we make that switch? What can we use to help? And what are the difficulties that we are going to face? And are those difficulties okay? Or they're not okay? So once you decide to make the switch, and let's talk about people that are strong enough first. Let's do that. And then we could talk about the people who are strong enough but need a little bit of push, a little bit of assistance to it. So let's talk about the people who decide to make that switch, who are mentally strong enough to make that switch, and the opposition that they're going to face. So first of all, it's the family. Don't do it. Stay safe. Finish this. Do that. But no, you move forward. Fear. You know, that fear that grips you. Well, what if it fails? So what if it fails? Then you do it again. One of the biggest things for me personally in starting the business was 3 children, a brand new house. Most people ask me, how did you make the decision? Because I was afraid not to make the decision. Because when I'm dying, I'm afraid to think, well, what if? And I don't have to think what if, because I'm doing it. But that took a lot of mental strength, and still taking a lot of mental strength. Some of us have never been trained because from our birth, we're talked about being safe. We've been, let's say, coddled. Or we were told that this is not for us. We were told that we could never fly. We were told that before you run, you need to learn how to walk. We were told, in Russian, there is a saying, don't say jump before you actually jump, which pretty much says don't dream. People say there's no such thing as miracles, but there are, right? How does that happen? And I think it's all with the power of mind. It's all the belief that you have, bring it out. You have to have faith, belief, whatever it takes, and you bring it up. We could talk about the grind. We could talk about all of that, but first it starts up here. How can you grind if you don't believe in yourself? Or how can you grind just because you hurt somebody? Right? And another big thing that I heard that is incredibly powerful, and that's from Tony Robbins, is he talks about walking out and looking at your garden and saying, there's no weeds, there is no weed, there is no weeds. Well, there are weeds, and you have to learn how to pull them out. And I completely agree with that. But a lot of us can walk out and realize that there are weeds, but we don't know where to start. We're not mentally strong enough to make that transition from saying there is no weeds to actually seeing the weeds and pulling them out. Can you imagine telling your mother that you're quitting something? Or telling your father or your friends? The amount of blowback you get? Among many people who consider themselves leaders or who are thinking about making a switch, it's going to be tough. You have to build walls. You have to make sure you have battlements. Make sure you have guards up here standing, because the amount of no and nay you're going to hear is going to be great. Not because your family or your friends don't love you. They do. But they're afraid for you. And fear is something you're going to have to put on a back burner. Because in the end of the day, your dreams and your vision has to come to fruition, whatever that is. Being safe is not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you to your dreams. This is where Hannibal makes that mistake. He was phenomenal. He did the basics ridiculously well. Brilliant mind, brilliant strategist. But that fear, I cannot take Rome. Everything falls apart. Scipio, he was 24, 25 when he asked Rome to be put in Spain to avenge the death of his father. You know, this is not the Princess Bride. You know, they didn't send him because they believed in him. They sent him because nobody else wanted command in Spain at the time. They thought it was suicide. But not only did he succeed, he made the hard decision saying, my country is besieged, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to swing around and I'm going to hit exactly where it hurts. I'm going to go for the head. And he did, because of the belief that he had. And imagine this. The belief is so strong because once you set your mind to something, the universe will move. And it did. He acquired the Numidian cavalry, and then he met Hannibal in open field where there was no strategy. It was just the desert sun and the grind. But because the universe moved, everything fell into place. But once again, it comes to here. So how do we make this happen if we're not strong enough? Well, one of the things in our society that we'll look at, we try to make fun of people who go to see a psychiatrist, who go to see a therapist, who need a mentor. We'll look at them and saying, oh, you can't make the decision on your own. No, that was me. That was the person who said, why can't they be strong enough? And they were mistaken. I'm sorry for that. Go seek help, because we all have mental blocks that are very, very hard to break. And that's why you need professionals. There are professionals who finish school for that. Or go see a mentor, because a mentor will push you. A real mentor will push you and it will not push you down. Because it's hard to do it on your own. And there are some people who can. They will be on this show and they will be talking about it. I have a very good friend who has his own consulting firm. And everything started up here for him. His parents raised him in abundance, in a mindset of abundance, never saying money grows trees, never saying there is not enough, we're living paycheck to paycheck. And even though they might have, that's nothing that he ever heard. His mindset was set up for abundance, and throughout his life, he's continuing to do so. When we talk about our parents, that's where a lot of our blocks start. And we love our parents dearly, and your parents love you too. And a lot of the things they do, I said it before, they do it to protect you. How many times have you heard, money do not grow on trees? How many times have you heard, I just need to make enough to pay these bills? How many times have you heard that? And what do you think precedent that sets? The other day, I was doing some heavy thinking. And just like everybody, we do our best thinking and our best conversations and our best arguments in the shower, because that's where you're standing and going, this is what should have been done. But I was doing some heavy thinking, yes, in the shower, because that's how most of it is done. As you contemplate, because it's serene, it's quiet, nobody's bothering you, right? Unless you have kids screaming your name. But as I'm standing there, I'm thinking, my business needs to make this so I could pay this. And then it hit me. And I'm not talking about the water. I'm talking about the idea. Why am I looking to make just this to pay just that? That means leaving from one bill to another bill. No. Create a mindset of abundance. Once again, wheels started turning and saying, I don't need this much, I need this much. And things slowly begin falling into place. That's tough, right? Let me ask you a question, and something for you to think about. What happens when you tell your parents your dreams? What happens when you tell your parents, when you're older than 13, when you're older than 10, when you're 13, 14, 15, 18, what happens when you tell your parents, when I'm older, I'm going to do this? What is the thing your parents usually say? I mean, I could say it in Russian, or I'll try to translate it the best that I can in English. Hey, just finish this first, then do that. Or how about you learn to clean your room? And what is that famous saying? Start your day by making your bed first before you go anywhere else. Yeah, that's jaded. That is extremely jaded. This is what we as parents, and that I am as a parent, I'm starting to watch what I say to my children. Right off the bat, you're clipping wings. You're setting up in their mind, you're setting up a point of failure. No, stop dreaming, stop. Just do this first, do this on this level. And you know what? Your kids will not move past this level. Not unless they're mentally strong. And to break that mentality is difficult. And I know this show is supposed to be motivational and things like that, and it will be. But before we move on, we have to set this mind right. We have to set a very fertile ground. So what I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to be like ancient Egypt. I'm trying to be like the Nile. I'm trying to fertilize the ground so everything can grow, right? And how did the Nile fertilize the ground? It had to overflow, right? And that's painful because you're overflowing with these emotions going, what have I been telling my kids? Or what have my parents been telling me and my friends? It does come from love, but you have to fix that. A great story, and I'll share it. I love my father very dearly. And I've always tried to find a way we could talk, a way we can connect. And it's always difficult for a father and a son at a certain age to connect because I believe a lot of this is going to happen. And I remember my wife telling me, hey, you need to change your mindset. Your father loves you. He loves the grandkids. What do you need to do to have a closer and a better relationship? Because we all have our issues with moms, dads, and things like that. And it's deep inside. And I said, you know what? You're right. What do I need to do? How am I going to be this person who teaches martial arts, who talks about respect, focus, self-discipline, who teaches motivation? How am I sitting here and trying to figure it out? So you know what I did? I changed my mindset. And I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. It was physically painful. I have a great relationship with my father. Now it's even better. We laugh, we joke. We're able to find a common language, a common tongue. Unbelievable. But it took growth. And some of us can't do that. That's why we need help. So I'm telling everybody, guys, if you know a therapist, you know a psychiatrist, go to them. Let them help you break through the blocks. The roads will open. The gates will swing open for the thing you could do. You could breathe. A lot of these blocks, you don't even know they exist. Let me tell you a great one. Let me tell you an amazing block that you'll be able to break. Perseverance. Our concept of perseverance nowadays is so messed up. I can't come up with a better word. Broken, messed up, not working as intended, right? 404, not found, error. That's the concept of perseverance currently, because what do we believe in? Once you start something, finish it. Okay. What if you don't like it? What if you internally, emotionally do not like it? Well, it's good for you, is it? How many relationships you guys see right now, or especially during the teen years for guys and girls, or early adulthood, 20s and ups? How many relationships do we see that are a gentleman or a lady, they're in a broken relationship and they should be out of it, but they stick with it? How many dead-end careers do we have? How many of us go to our car and cry at the end because we got chewed out by our boss because they're worthless? Because up here we have a block, because perseverance, right? Persevere and it'll be better. No, if you don't like something, burn it, leave it, go somewhere else. Now, if you do enjoy something, and some of you will say, well, what about school? You don't like it. Kids love school. They enjoy it. I know, my kids say they enjoy it. Sometimes they'll say it's hard and they want to quit. That's where perseverance comes in. Hey, buddy, you likes this. It's okay. It's going to be tough. You enjoy it. And then it's going to get easier. All the children like school. Everybody. Why? Because it's emotional. There are friends. There are things that are happening. But what we teach our kids is when they don't like something, to persevere, right? What if they're getting bullied? Persevere. It'll get better. No, it will not get better. Things need to be addressed. Quit, stop, switch. Break those habits right now. I know as parents and I know as people, we want our kids and we want other people to try new things. But sometimes, new things aren't for us. I teach martial arts. More students I have, the more prosperous my business is. Martial arts is not for everybody. The only thing I ask is I hope they go do another sport, another lifestyle. Your mental state, once again, needs to be like Constantinople. It needs to be impenetrable. If you need help for that, find somebody. Find a mentor. Find a mentor that broke through. Find a mentor that can help you. Find a mentor that will push you. Find a mentor that knows when to step back. Because as currently we're going, most of us are mentally weak. We are broken. Not because of hate, but because of fear. Because our parents, grandparents, our society is pressuring us. This is why so many people go to motivational speakers and I apologize to Tony Robbins, and no, he does not want to be called a motivational speaker. I know that. I'm not trying to say that he is. And I know we go to change our lives, and I know we read so many books. I understand that. But why so many people aren't changing? It's not because they're not doing the basic, because mentally they're not strong. They start and then they stop because they break, because people make fun of them. Lord, look at me. Look at my family. Look at people who go plant-based. I went plant-based, my parents about lost it. Am I still plant-based? For the most part, yes. I listen to my body. If I want to eat something, I will, because I went for it because of health issues. But once again, people make fun of you. And that's fine. You move on. You know, first they make fun of you, then they look at you, then they listen to you, then they copy you. Imitation is the best form of flattery, right? But it all starts up here. It all starts up here. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So the next time you pick up a book, next time you read, and you should read, next time you read, Simon Sinek, next time you read John Maxwell, Jack Canfield, Stephen Covey, don't just read and say, I'm going to do this. Read, say, I'm going to do this, and then sit back. I don't know if the right word is meditate on it. Set your mind on it. If you need help, call those people that can help you. And if people are going to make fun of you, it's fine. They'll make fun of you. It's okay. Don't let other people influence this anymore. I'm saying it hundreds, thousands, millions of times. Find the help that can help you break through. Because once you break through those blocks, it'll be amazing. It'll be phenomenal. Let me give you a great way of breaking through the blocks, a great story. I was talking on social media with one of my acquaintances, and they asked about how do you prevent young children from watching so much cartoons or using tablets or things like that. Well, one thing that we must understand, it is part of our life, right? It's there. Kids are going to watch it. So don't let them not watch it, because eventually they'll go off the deep end, and that's how things happen. And we'll talk about that in other episodes. I remember when we introduced it to our children. We have 3, 5, 3, and 1. And they enjoy it. Because that's the life right now. Everything is like pop, 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 happening, and the YouTube for kids is showing things like that. Me and my wife decided to limit it. And we used to take it away, and there's a fight that happens, and you're yelling back and forth. So we changed our mindset. Oh, it was not easy. But now, my kids come down and go, we want to watch a cartoon. Hey, no problem, buddy. You can watch it, but let's wait a little bit. We need to do this, this, and that. Okay. Done. Longer path. Had to break this. But it works. Now we're working with our 1-year-old, and once again, it's tough because you have to change your mindset. You can't just say, I'm the parent, I'm going to take it away. No. I have to look at a 3 and a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old as an adult, as a human being, and I have to set my mindset to that level. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no easy way. None. Unfortunately, no easy way for this. You have to sharpen your mind. You have to fortify it. You have to change it. Because if you don't, you will never go to that next level. And that next level does not have to be financial. It does not have to be monetary. But you have to be happy. If you watch The Health Way with Miss Victoria, she talks about how food affects everything. You know, let medicine be thy food and let thy food be thy medicine. But if you're not happy, that's not going to help you. Simon Sinek once said, hydrogenated oils are not killing us. What's killing us is our stress. I believe it's a combination because your body is a whole thing. What you put in it. What you put in it. Not just physically, but also up here. So in closing, guys, you could do this. If not by yourself, it's fine. Find somebody that could help. Find a mentor and start breaking through those blocks. Find that happier life because it's right over there. And don't listen to anybody when they're making fun of you. They're going to be there. Make it through. And in the words of somebody that I respect greatly, Keely Williams of Team Fitness Athletics, God may rest his soul. It is never too late to live the life you want to live. Guys, I'll see you on the next episode. We're going to be talking about leadership and business within it. Everybody, ask some questions, leave a like, a comment, and as I always say, I'll see everybody on the mats.